All right. Good evening, everyone. I call this meeting of Hamtramck City Council to order. Today is November 14, 2023, and it's 7:01 p.m. Would the clerk call the rules, please?
Councilman Hassan,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmood,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Present.
Councilman Rafai,
Present.
the mayor is here, Councilman Musa and Councilman Al-Samir are not here at the moment, but we do have quorum, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Rise for pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any community announcements?
Nothing listed on here, I came in.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I have one. It is just the new supermarket grocery store. It's grand opening this Friday. Everyone is invited. It's on Joseph Campo. Yeah, I can provide you the. I know you emailed. So that's the. That is called Ittihadi Halal Food Market ribbon cutting, November 17 at 2 p.m. It's Friday at 11916 Joseph Campo. And as you know, it's on between Komor and Kashmir, I think. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And on the same day, there's another grand opening at 12 noon. I don't remember the name of the market. Dairy.
Ferries, there,
Dairy,
Ferries,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Good store.
You know the address offhand, Carol?
I don't often know
Somewhere in Kenneth.
Yes.
It'll be on social media too.
Okay. All right. Thank you. No more announcements?
Can I say congratulations to all the winners of the election on November 7th for the general election? Councilman Hassan, Councilman Al-Samiri, and upcoming Councilman Sadman for winning the general primary for the city council position. Unfortunately, none of our proposals nor the school board proposal passed. Those all came in as no's. Well, no. But yes, that was it. That's my
Thank you.
announcement.
All right. So we move to proclamations, recognitions, and presentation. We'll start with Family Court Awareness Month. Would the clerk read that, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
The mission of the Family Court proclamation recognizing Family Court Awareness Month, whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness on the importance of a family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interest of children. And whereas the mission at the FCAMC is fueled by the desire to create awareness and change in the family court system for the conservatively estimated 58,000 children a year ordered into unsupervised contact with abusive parents, while honoring the hundreds of children who have been reported as murdered during visitation with a dangerous parent. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to decrease awareness on the importance of empirically based education and training on domestic violence and child abuse, including emotional, psychological, physical, and sexual abuse, as well as child trauma, coercive control, and post-separation abuse for judges and all professionals working on cases within the family court systems. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to increase awareness on the importance of using scientifically valid evidence-based treatment programs and services that are proven in terms of safety, effectiveness, and therapeutic value. And whereas the mission of the FCAMC is to educate judges and other family court professionals on evidence-based, peer-reviewed research. Such research is a critical component to making decisions that are truly in the best interest of children. The research includes the adverse childhood experience, studies, child custody evaluators, belief about domestic abuse allegations, and child custody outcomes in cases involving parental alienation and abuse allegations. And now therefore be it resolved that I, Ahmed Ghalib, Mayor of Hamtramck, hereby declare the month of November to be Family Court Awareness Month. I encourage all residents to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the harm of children in the hands of family members and to honor and value the lives of children. Signed, Ahmed Ghalib.
Thank you. Next one is honoring the life of Richard Rocky.
Mayor, if you don't mind, I'll take this one, because I also have some announcements
Thank
with it
you.
as well. So, as everybody's aware, we lost Rocky, who was our code supervisor and longtime friend to pretty much the whole city. He is greatly missed here at City Hall. This Friday is gonna be his visitation. It's gonna be at Wilkes Funeral Home from 1 to 9 p.m. And then followed on Saturday, the funeral service, starting laying in state at 9:30 a.m. Until the funeral mass, which starts at 10 a.m. That'll be at St. Florian, and the procession looks like it'll be on to Mount Olivet Cemetery after that. I don't have the wake details, but I'm sure anyone attending will be easily attainable for that. And as far as the proclamation goes, proclamation honoring the life of Richard Rocky Radke. Whereas it is with heavy hearts and profound sorrow that we come together to pay tribute to a beloved member of our community, Mr. Richard Rocky Radke, who departed this world on November 7th, 2023. And whereas Rocky, age 62, was the son of late Maria and Bo, the brother and best friend of Mark G, and the cherished uncle of Joshua. And whereas Rocky was a dear friend to many and left an indelible mark on the hearts of those who had the privilege of knowing him. And whereas Rocky's professional journey was marked by his tenure as the Department Head of Code Enforcement in the City of Hamtramck, where he dedicated himself to ensuring the well-being and safety of our community. And whereas prior to his dedicated service to the city, Rocky was a former owner of the renowned Baker Street Cart Bar, where his Alley Cow Grill became a culinary delight for all who visited. And whereas Rocky's passion for entertaining and cooking was evident in his love for watching cooking shows, always seeking inspiration for new culinary adventures, and whereas his joyful spirit extended to the bar, where his hearty laugh could be heard from a mile away, filling the establishment with warmth and camaraderie, and whereas Rocky, in addition to his contributions to the community, served as a paramedic, demonstrating his commitment to the health and well-being of his fellow residents, and whereas Rocky's legacy is not only defined by his professional achievements, but also by the immense love and compassion he shared with everyone he encountered. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Mayor and City Council of the City of Hamtramck express their deepest condolences to the family and friends of Richard Rocky Radke and honor his memory as a man of integrity, compassion, and boundless generosity. Be it further proclaimed that the City of Hamtramck acknowledges the significant impact Rocky had on our community and commits to preserving his legacy as a testament to the strength of our shared bonds. Signed, Emmer Gallup, Mayor.
Thank you. All right, do we have any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Okay, we'll move to the public comment now.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have Mr. Bill Meyer. You don't want to talk? You're the only person. You're first and last and middle.
Actually, that's one of the points I
Can
want
you
to make.
please just push the button on the mic? Thank you. Mic check. Is it green?
No.
Oh, here you go. You can take this one. You break your mic?
All right, well, I'm here to, hi, council, mayor, and what else? I'm here to discuss, talk about four unrecognized broken records that took place recently. One of them is that, I think, the last meeting, there was no public comments
Yes.
and no email comments. After all this talk for months about, you can only talk for 10, 20 minutes, you can only have 20 minutes of the email comment. No one sent an email, no one sent a comment in, and as far as I know, that's the first time ever that that has happened. And it looks like it almost happened tonight too, but I showed up, so sorry to ruin the record, but that's one of them. Second is, I don't think anybody's talked about the fact that we have for the first time in my life here at Hamtramck, the budget, we have a balanced budget and surplus money. That's never been like that. In the whole history since I've lived here, probably way before that too. Of course, no one's talking about it. This is a major accomplishment. I think you all deserve credit for that. So I'll put it here in a minute. Thirdly, I think no one realizes that the rally that took place last Saturday in Hamtramck was probably the largest rally in my lifetime here in Hamtramck. And certainly, maybe even in the history of Hamtramck, although there were big ones in the 30s. In a long time, it was the largest. There were easily over 1,000 people there. Many of them were from Hamtramck, but it drew in a lot of people who supported the cause, and the cause was the demand a ceasefire in Gaza. People that are getting slaughtered. There's now over 10,000 people being killed in the shooting gallery where they're just tied in there, locked in there, and the guns are killing them. Over 5,000 children, infants are being killed, murdered. Whatever the reason, there's no excuse for that. And at the rally, I was very proud of the two speakers. Khaled Tarani spoke at the beginning and our mayor spoke at the end, saying very important things, which of course the media didn't report on accurately. And I do want to mention, and so the fourth thing is, I think this is the first rally in Hamtramck where Muslims finally protested on the streets against U.S. government policies. Of course, this wasn't the first war in Gaza. There was one in 21, there was one in 19, there was one in 16, and you know, many of them. And we were there for all of those. But Muslims didn't come out for those. This was a record breaker. This was, people were fearless about coming out and speaking against U.S. policy, which is to essentially support the Zionist Israeli government and its genocidal project in Gaza. This is genocide, and our government is supporting genocide, whether you want to talk about this is a classical terminology for genocide. But I want to ask for another minute.
Go ahead.
Thank you. But I think you should also note that our newspaper, our Record of Note, or whatever it's called, are Islamophobic newspaper supposedly, but it's really the opinion piece. These are all opinions that are written in that paper. It's one person mostly writing it, same name on every article in the whole newspaper. It's like almost comical. This guy had the audacity to report that there were 200 people at this rally. I mean, there were 200 people in front of one store. I mean, there was easily 1,000 people there. Why would you want to misrepresent that? This newspaper is considered the voice of Hamtramck, and people around the world use this paper to get facts about Hamtramck. It was full of lies, distortions, misinformation, a lack of any representation from both sides. And I have more to say about that later, but we cannot afford to have a newspaper in this city that tells lies like this. It distorts what's happening. This paper.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, thank you.
Call for public comment, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. And talking about the newspaper, they reported wrong information about me that I said in the council last time, and I mentioned that to the guy. He said that I said because the Jewish people lived there for the past 3,000 years. When I said here, I said because they claimed that their grandfather lived there 3,000 years ago. That's a big difference between the two meanings. Because when you say they lived there for the past 3,000, that means they have the right to stay there. But when you say 3,000 years ago, that's different. The indigenous people changed their religion over and over to Christianity, then to Muslims. So there's a big difference in the meanings, and although I mentioned that to him, he still didn't apologize about misreporting the information. And it sounds like it's the voice of the opposition now to the government. So that's obvious. Thank you. And we move now to the consent agenda. And this is approved in a single motion with no discussion. We have approval of minutes from the October 24th, 2023 regular city council meeting. Approval of invoice register date ending November 14th, 2023. And approval of pre-approved expenditure date ending November 14th, 2023.
Motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We move now to the public hearing. And we have Resolution 2023-158B approving the second reading and public hearing of the amendment and proposed ordinance to Chapter 96, foreclosed, vacant, or abandoned property.
Motion?
Second.
All right, so this is to open the hearing.
7:15.
All right.
There's no public comment, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Motion to close?
I'll second.
Any discussion for?
No, sir.
Mr. Mayor, would like Odie just give a quick rundown on it?
I mentioned it last time, we'll talk about it a little bit right now. Basically, this is just a way to get vacant property owners to develop their property. And there's a number of exceptions for a number of, you know, if it's a vacant property that's connected to a residential, if it's a residential lot connected to a residential house, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about undeveloped property that's not being used, not being touched for over a period of time, and it increases over a period of time what the fee is. It's a redevelopment ready fee is what we're calling it, and basically either you redevelop your property, or you pay an extra fee, or you sell it to someone who's ready to do that, and that's what this is here to do.
It does not target parks, obviously, or pocket parks. And then, as O'Day stated, if you have a spare lot next to your house, you're good. It doesn't count for that.
Vote.
Yeah, go ahead.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Hassan,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
Resolution 2023-158 be approved, Mr. Mayor.
thank you. Now we move to the new business, and we start with Resolution 2023-165A, approving first reading and setting the date for the public hearing and second reading of Hamtramck zoning ordinance text amendment to Title 15, Land Usage, Chapter 15.
Motion. Second.
Mr. Mayor, I have Mrs. Faulkner here to discuss it.
Oh,
Hi, I'm presenting 6 amendments that the Planning Commission has discussed. The Planning Commission had a public hearing already on these amendments, and this is the final proposed version after several discussions with the Planning Commission. I'm not gonna go into all of them in depth because the document is very long, but the document does have all of the proposed text. All of the amendments relate to either streamlining the process for development or changing some of the residential ordinances. So I'll give a couple examples. Right now, we have an ordinance that says if you're modifying your building footprint by 10% or less, staff and our consultants can administratively approve that. So if you're putting on, a little tiny addition to your building, you don't need to come, for a public approval process for those small additions to a commercial building. So it would change that from 10% to 20%. So it just makes it quicker and simpler for small changes to buildings and small expansions. Another one in here is moving the site plan approval process back to the Planning Commission. Site plans used to be approved by the Planning Commission a couple years ago. Actually, I believe at the time it was a 2-step process. It was planning and then city council. RRC, which is the Redevelopment Ready Communities, they require that the Planning Commission be the final step. So it still would be a 1-step process, but it wouldn't go to city council anymore. And we wouldn't do 2 meetings either. It would just be 1 meeting. Before, I know there were not a lot of members on the Planning Commission, but it has been, we've had great attendance lately. And other cities use the Planning Commission for this purpose. And as well, we have planners and architects on the Planning Commission who are specialized in those types of reviews. Another amendment I want to highlight is currently in the residential zone, if you're building multifamily, each unit has to be at least 700 square feet. The issue we've had with that is that sometimes people want to build small multifamily structures, maybe a 4-plex, and have like 500 square foot studios. So think about the studio apartments, no bedroom, you just like a little studio. So currently we've denied those types of applications because we require that all of the units in residential be at least 700 square feet. But a lot of people, especially people who live alone, want, lower rent, it's more affordable for the builder as well. So it would just allow that to now be possible. So those are a couple of the amendments. If you have any other questions on any of them, I could answer them at this meeting or the next meeting.
And this
Well,
is just for
Mr. Chair, we are no first reading. I still wanna, anything goes to the planning commission, I wanna still come to the council meeting to approval.
Yeah.
That is my comment.
Mr. Chair.
go ahead.
May I ask you, why you guys decided to remove council and just use just the planning?
So it wasn't, it's not.
What's the purpose? What's-
It's not us, so originally, cause I've looked into like what's happened over the past 5 years, even before I got here. Originally, it was a two-step process, so any site plan, which could even be just someone buys a building and is redeveloping it and adding some structural changes to it. They have to go through planning, they gotta go through
Then
council, they
council,
gotta go through fire, they gotta go to, you know, engineering, and it's just a lot of steps, and so to make the process more development friendly, redevelopment ready, and just in general in the state of Michigan, they're encouraging it to be like a one meeting process. So we still have to do all the technical reviews, but you don't wanna have 2 meetings, because it just delays the process. You know, time is money is what they say.
Only 1 week.
We're trying to make it easier for people to develop, basically.
If it's always been in that
Behind
system,
something
why we're
else.
changing it now?
We cannot get redevelopment ready certified if we keep it as council.
It's a certification that the city's also striving for.
It's one of the last steps actually to getting the certification. So we've done almost everything else that's needed, but they won't release that certification if council keeps control. Again, the planning commission has architects and planners on the planning commission, and they have said that it can be seen to be, that development can be tied to politics, where it should really just be like a non-biased review of zoning and features and standards, and so they said it has to be the planning commission.
So now when the board, when the, so now when the entire board are a different color, now it's, oh, well, we don't want it to be political. So where previously it was fine, now when we all from a different
It's
type of
left.
color skin, and now, oh, it could come to a political issue now.
Now it's gonna be departmental head
Councilman, I
approval
assure
issue.
you that that's not.
Well,
Also, we're not gonna talk
I
further.
would like to amend this resolution, this
We're not
part.
gonna-
So just to clarify, I think most of these amendments are suggested by people who are against the delay. It's for the sake of time.
It's,
That's what it says. I mean, I
Only 1
attended
word.
some of the,
Planning is also appointed by this board.
the planning is also very diverse now, and they have people who spend a lot of time reading this. We don't spend much time reading them before and going through the rules and regulations and everything. They do that in the planning. So it's up to you guys, but I don't think it's mostly suggested, I think, by Nasser Hussain.
Mr.
It's
Yeah,
not,
Mr.
Mr.
Chair.
Chair? Okay,
Mr.
go ahead.
Chair,
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilman. I'm sorry, he was ahead of you, so then you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As far as what I'm getting from you, you're trying to make it easy for the residents to go through this processing, this thing. However, if you don't have the council involved, then we would not know if the complaint comes in, and then we would not know what's going on. Because usually they approach us when there is a problem, administrative problems going on. I would ask you these questions, even if we don't get, if we approve it today and it goes to the planning commissioners, and will you have an administrative authority there, like the city administration, to still review the planning? Or will the city manager be knowledge of it to share with the mayor and the council? You know, that sort of things is gonna be established, because end of the day, you know, that's, this issue is gonna be brought forward to the council once there is anything approved, you know. That's what I'm trying to say, the point. If you don't approve, they will try to bring it here, or approach one of the colleagues, council member or mayor, that, hey, I asked for this and they wanted to deny this because whatever reason. So,
Mr. Mayor?
sure.
Are you prepared to talk about redevelopment ready as far as what the benefits are and if we do get the certification?
yeah, I mean, I could talk about that more in a month, if we can. I can talk about it a little bit right now. Redevelopment Ready has 7 standards for redevelopment. Really, it's showing that you're a business-friendly, development-friendly community. We have been working on it for probably about 4 years, and we've made a lot of progress. We've adopted, many things. This has always been one of their standards. It's not a new standard recently. And a lot of it comes with grant opportunities for businesses within our city. For us to be participating in this, MEDC is a fantastic partner. In fact, I think they're the best grant partner that we have. They have the easiest to access funds out of any funds that I know for redevelopment projects. So without going into too many details, they are the ones that sponsor, like MEDC sponsors the Build My Community Fund, which is the one that's $250,000 towards building redevelopment. So potentially 20, 30 buildings in our city could have $250,000 in grant money, not a loan, to repurpose vacant buildings. But all of this is, it's a cooperative event. So they want us to, meet these high standards in terms of, some of the things we had to do was we had to adopt bylaws at the Planning Commission. We had to adopt bylaws at the ZBA. We have to have really accurate zoning maps that are easily accessible online for developers, so they're not searching around for hours just trying to get the zoning. Everything needs to be easy, upfront, clear. The fees have to be clear. You want them not to be spending a lot of time trying to navigate through our system.
Mr. Mayor and Council, this is just the first reading. May humbly asks that we move it forward and then allow Carolyn and CED to come back at the second reading, which you still absolutely can change it with the more pros and cons of what this will do and won't do, because this will not allow us to do the redevelopment ready because it's one detail. So, and that's fine if that's what council wants, but I would ask that you give Carolyn's team an opportunity to lay that out a little bit more for you.
Councilman
Mr. Chair,
Yeah, my question, this practice going on last couple decades, and you're just trying to change this one, to take this opportunity to see the council oversees this. You are just taking to the planning commission. Only 1 week difference, what is the big difference for this? And council elected by the people, we are very easy to accept the people. If some issue come up, they do not come into the planning commission, they come to the councilman.
Right.
They come to the mayor too directly. So we have to get some answer too. So if we do know what's going on before the planning commission, we have a better answer and we can overlook these things.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair,
I'm sorry.
well, explanation enough. So here is the one, even though it's come to the council and nothing affecting any grant money, any development, any other thing. Is the previous practice is gonna stay with the council right. We don't wanna give up our council right to somebody else. I still, Mr. Mayor, understand, very educated, very diverse planning commission. I still don't wanna give up my right, and I'm not preventing anybody to do the development. It is the normal protocol, it's still something we can oversee, and we never deny anything when planning commission approve it. Only the one time, when we found some issues between the director, development, and the planning commission has some issue. So you never know what's gonna happen. Well, that time, the residents elect us to look at, oversee all those stuffs, and we didn't bother nobody. And I wanna keep our practice and our right as it is.
Okay, so is there a way we can amend it, just remove this part and just
So-
approve everything else?
Motion to amend it.
I
Yeah.
motion to
Wait,
amend.
wait,
She
wait,
has to
wait.
say something, go ahead.
I believe we have to, if we amend, we could remove it, but if we're changing it, we have to send it back to the planning commission.
I think they just want to remove it.
Just
No, we
remove
can
it.
remove it.
Keep it the way you used to
Okay,
be.
if I
Two
can just
meetings.
speak one thing, this will end our redevelopment ready process, so I agree with the city manager that we could at least think about it.
They can motion to
No.
add it, and
Yeah,
then we
they
go
can
back
still
to.
come back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that option will be open, so you still have the exact same thing.
Same
you want
issue.
until the next meeting, to provide them with information regarding this
Tonight is
redevelopment
gonna be
ready. So I would say,
Yep.
if they want a motion to
No,
move
fix
it,
to
if that's
that.
what they're
I
more
don't wanna
comfortable
wait to
doing
see
now,
ready.
that's
And
totally
we could
cool.
potentially add it back in.
We,
Correct.
sure.
If
Okay.
And you wouldn't need to go back to the planning.
No.
Okay,
So you'll get a crack at it at next meeting.
okay, sounds good.
Okay.
So Rana, I motion to remove it. I'll second.
Which letter was that, Carolyn, if you don't mind?
Don't come to the
B.
council.
Rather
B.
than rather by,
B.
rather
So
than.
just
Yeah, B.
Remove B, yes.
from the
Yeah.
amendments.
Mhm.
Did you guys vote? Did they vote on it?
Yeah, we gotta,
No, they haven't.
She's right.
gotta get Clark.
And I recommend that a couple members of the planning commission attend the next meeting to explain the reasoning behind it.
It wouldn't be the planning commission, we would want a representative from RRC to come, because they're the ones, I'm the one that presented this to the planning commission.
It's
The
okay.
planning commission, and no one on the planning commission initiated this. I initiated it because I'm trying to receive, as a city, redevelopment ready certification. So no one on the
Okay.
planning commission initiated this, so I wouldn't want anybody to see it as them having a move to take more power. It was something I presented based on the fact that we will no longer be an RRC community, and I'm the main contact with RRC, so I could get an RRC representative to come.
Okay.
So, I mean, if planning is promoting it now too, I mean. they
So
can
it's
still-
already amended now, Mr. Chair.
It's not amended yet, it's voted.
I vote.
Yeah, that's what I said. Can I, let's
So
go
we
to
It's
can-
vote.
amended.
Come on,
Okay.
we have to vote on it.
It's on the floor, it's on the
Yeah.
floor, it's not amended.
So we vote on
You
the
wanna vote
amendment,
on it now, you ready to vote?
on the amendment.
Okay, we're voting to remove B from resolution 2023-165A. Councilman Hassan,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor. It is an ordinance, it's up to you. to
No.
vote on.
Now they have to vote
Ye-
motion to for the second hearing.
Yes, I
So they did the motion
understand.
to modify.
I know, but because it's an ordinance and they're
He has to
amending
vote,
it,
Mayor.
the mayor votes on ordinances, it's part of the ordinance
Yeah,
being
even for an
amended.
amendment, you're right.
It's up
Okay.
to you.
I mean, it's added here as a resolution, so.
Yeah, but it's a resolution to amend an ordinance.
You
If
can
you vote on
abstain.
And
ordinance change.
abstain.
I mean, that's fine, I would say yes, I mean,
Okay.
it's not gonna change anything.
Right.
Okay, so, now we will have to vote on the amended resolution.
Correct.
That's right.
All right, so,
I'd like to make the motion
Second.
as amended. Khalil has seconded.
any further discussion on that?
No.
No,
All
sir.
right, so we can vote.
I'm sorry, it was, Councilman Hassan, and who seconded that?
Rafai.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Hassan,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes,
Mr. Mayor, amended resolution 2023-165 approved.
thank you. All right, thank you. Next one is resolution 2020.
2020.
Whoa, they're all 2020.
Yeah.
Let's change those right
There's
now.
a
They got
typo,
three number
2023-167, approving the Joseph Campo water main construction.
I motion.
So, one,
Ronnie,
166.
Yes,
166.
B.
Yes, yes.
This, okay, 2020.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Three number. Just two of them, three.
Yeah, they'll be
ECB.
fixed before you have.
okay, so, any discussion on this one? Or,
Yep.
Well, Mr. Hennessy and John would give us a briefing.
Yeah, so during the last year's Joseph Campo looping project, we found an area between Denton and Alice that, a 24-inch water main that was filled with concrete. So that was part of SRF loan. We couldn't fix it because of that loan, project. So this is our solution to go in there and put in a new 24-inch water main from Denton to Alice. We know the water main going to Alice is good, so it's just that one section. So we had the contractor that was out there that did the Joseph Campo looping, Biddy Gary Construction, give us a estimate to do that work. And we wanna get that designed and constructed.
Which should help the water situation on that side of town to complete the loop. Right now, a couple dead ends.
Do we have any idea why it was built?
We don't know when it happened, it was probably happened a few years back, but somebody filled it up with concrete, so. Yeah,
Has to go
It
by
could, it
him.
could have been that way for 40 years, we just don't know. It's until, unfortunately, you open the ground and start
maybe,
digging.
maybe somebody
you
wanted to
find
fix
things.
the main leak and said, we'll just fill it with concrete. So, we don't know.
Temporary fix.
Yes.
So,
Councilor Rivera.
What, is Joseph Campo concrete or is it pavement?
The road,
Yeah.
it's,
How did it get filled if we redid Joseph
It was
Campo?
pumped, somebody had to pump it into it, it's not something that just like found its way down
But
in there.
he gets fixed like 8 months ago.
so we did from Denton
That's-
down, from West Denton underneath the railroad to East Denton. is
Yeah,
what
we
I
didn't
call
do
it.
this area.
This, we found this filled with concrete when we were doing that work. Unfortunately, because it was under an SRF loan, I didn't have the
They are
additional
the one
funds
doing that,
to do that.
nobody else.
So who was doing those services previously?
This, we don't know
Nobody
when
else.
this was filled, this is, could
That
have been
is the one
filled
opening.
20 years ago for all we
We've been
know.
the engineer for quite a number of years, is my understanding, and it's not something we've known about, otherwise we would have
It
definitely.
was never brought to us, never ever.
I'm curious
And
to see
some
how it'll-
previous conductor made it that, now we have to do this.
And
So why we have the Hennessy?
They did already.
What has kinds of supervision we have done?
They did already.
So when you guys did that, when was it? Almost a couple months ago?
Yeah, that was a different
Early-
section
early.
altogether,
That
yeah.
was a
That's when
different
we
section.
found it.
That's when we found it, so this is we had to figure out a solution to get this fixed, so we get that complete loop.
So and you guys found it how long? When was that?
Earlier this year.
This year, I think in March.
And when we get notified now?
Yeah, no.
Well, DPW was notified, we had to come up with a solution
We
to
had to
get the,
we had to get bids on it, how much it's gonna cost to fix this. This is, like I said, something that was found during exploratory when they were doing the rest of it. Looking into it, they said, hey, this water main is filled up with concrete.
I mean,
They weren't
there's-
contracted to do that
Yeah.
section of thing.
No, but they said they found out when they were doing that repair.
I think this is
And that,
recent.
and that recent, so that's been months,
7 months ago.
7 months ago. So we just get notified now about the issue.
Well, I mean, we find all kinds of things in the ground that are, we don't know about. I
Well,
mean,
this is major. This is something that's gonna cost the city money.
Most all of it does.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
the problem is
So-
the city doesn't have, well, it is starting to now, but we have a long history of not having good maps of anything, where anything's at, any of these facilities and stuff, and Hennessy's taken a lot of steps in cleaning that up, and we're moving towards the future of even bringing you GIS to the city to have it all the way completely mapped out perfectly, but, I mean, we're gonna continue to discover things. I mean, in any construction, you find weird things that happen, which makes you scratch your head of why did they do this? But, I mean, it's not like, we're wondering why it happened, but I mean, who knows? This could have been like that for 40 years. I mean, it's not like, we're like, someone just did this, to mess with us. So you note it, you figure out how to fix it, you move it, you get all this stuff together, and we bring it to council to fix it.
I think
Mr.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Khalil trying to explain that this found 7 months before. Could have bring it to our attention, this is what happening, and then we'll come back to you guys for, how much it's cost for repair and everything. But why you guys waited all those months and now bring it to us? I think that was his
I
question.
don't, well, candidly, I mean, there's so much going on at any given time, we make note and we prepare a fix for it. It's not like, something exploded and we just told you about it. I mean, it's just a part of what we do here. We find construction, we find crazy things, we note them and move on. I mean, it's abnormal, but, I mean, if we found a water main, I think, going down Joseph Campo that we didn't know about. I mean, we didn't necessarily notify you of that. I mean, I think I told a couple of you in passing, but, I mean, it's not really
Yes,
raising to
It's not uncommon, and
Mr.
the
Chair.
area still has water.
Yes.
So it's not a 911, but it's definitely gonna improve what's going on out there. We have another issue, we got a water leak on Kniff right now that there's no shutoffs for. So, I mean, we're finding constant problems. And then we just have to prioritize where we're at
in our construction season, what's going on and what contractor EV has the capability of doing it, or EV wants to bid it. So the one that did Kniff is the one that gave us the bid, right?
The one who did Joseph Campo.
Joseph Campbell.
So he'll complete that loop based on what we found during that.
Mr. Chair,
After.
Yes, Mr.
may I? Okay. Few years ago, when Hennessy was taking over all those plans with the 50 million expense, with the section by section, and I'm here, sitting here, they used the camera, everything was perfectly done, and it was the presented exactly same place, and as is a perfectly done, and there was the money they took, some grant money, some from city money, and used the camera, and this is the perfect plan, and Mr. Bill Myers also, I believe was here, and make a one good comment. We never know all those kinds of design. Hennessy did it. We are thank you for Hennessy for doing that. So now, after that, Hennessy has to supervise everything was going on and overseeing that. And we are supporting all the grant money and with the match all the times. Now suddenly come this one, that is unexpected. Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, to speak towards that, I think I know what your point
Yep,
is. that
yep,
you're
yep.
saying
I've been
that
here
Hennessy
16
has all
years.
the control, I think is what he meant. But what I was just speaking about was we're trying to move towards a GIS system in the city, which basically all of the input and all the maps and everything we have is gonna go into our own repository of information within City Hall in GIS, so that we will have, the city will have all that information moving forward. So we're actually taking steps to sort all that out. But, I mean, we're gonna continue to find things as we go. I mean, we got 100 years worth of water and sewer lines in this city that, I mean, the extent of our seniority in here is, I mean, in the city is the
Mr.
longest
Chair.
person we're talking today is 26 years on the job. So, I mean, a couple decades ago, we wouldn't have any knowledge unless someone came forward and said, hey, we did that. But
Right.
we're
Yeah, we
trying
wouldn't
to.
have found this without the other
No, it's-
water
it's-
main being worked on.
Right, Mr. Chair.
Hey, you're doing good job. Mine is
Yeah.
the designer.
Councilman
Mr. Chair.
Chaudhry. Go ahead.
Wow, thank you. Well, I appreciate that you guys discovering these things that need to be developed and to be fixed. We're coming along, we're taking the steps to fix the city's issue, you know, as a city that is left neglected for a while. But we would appreciate it if you would have just told us in advance where we could have adjusted the budget. Now I know the fund is coming from the water and source funds. It's almost $100,000, but it's still that's gonna from the water and source. But going forward, it's better to start working on it. You know, get it done. That's what I'd say positively. You know.
Actually, the cost is 800, close to 850,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's
So B and C, I don't understand what the difference. Water main design and construction service, that's
92,000.
B, and then the second one said water main construction.
So one's for our services for the design and construction oversight, and then the second, the one after is for the construction by Vidigary contractors.
Which is typically how we do it. We award the design, and then we come back and we award the.
So designing costs how much? Because my system doesn't work today.
92.
Just the design.
92.
Design and the construction oversight. So when they're out there doing the construction, that we have someone on site making sure. And again, that's where when we do find things, we have to make a quick decision. We got contract, if we stop a contractor in the middle of construction to try and
Mr. Chair.
make a decision, if it takes a couple days, they can charge us for downtime.
So
it's
who
one of those-
decided, I'm sorry, who decided 92,000 design money?
It's for the design
Who
and,
decided?
Hennessy.
This is what
Hennessy.
this is the
So
bid for Hennessy.
everything Hennessy designed before, now redesigned 92,000, another section gonna be redesigned again, another 300,000, another 92,000. If the design was one time perfectly done. So now again redesign, who put the 90, why it is not the 10,000?
this is,
Just question.
this is a new section of water main that we have not designed.
Guys, you guys was not here, I was here. Exactly, when is the big design, Hennessy brought it here, perfect design, no more problem. I had a question, Do you think this is the final one or no more, no issue? We have all put a camera, everything perfect, and we'll be, gonna be okay. Now another 92,000 design issue. That is my issue.
I'm not sure.
He was sitting over there. I was sitting here, Mr. Mayor.
I'm just trying to get my head
Yeah,
around.
you know, and the one of the Bill Myers make a nice comment to everybody. Nice design, we never see this kinds of design before. Okay, so
Was that water and sewer? and-
yes, everything, whole design, whole system. Is the map in the should be in somewhere in the department head has the big map, the design.
So now it's gonna.
Anyway, so my question, 92,000. Why is 92?
So we have a contract with Hennessy as our engineers, and these quotes are based upon our contract
Okay.
parameters of what.
Mr. Chair, when I first came here, there was no Hennessy. That time city was running without Hennessy. Okay?
So these big projects that cost millions of dollars here, there's another one coming that costs 11 million something. I mean, I understand they are important for the city, but there are other projects that we assigned in the beginning of the summertime, and they haven't finished, and they just started like 8 weeks ago. They wait until the end of the summertime, and then they start working, and then the snow comes and they stop in the middle. So is there a reason why the delay, for example, filming the street, filming, why is it not done yet? That you started like,
So, Mr. Mayor, we struggle to juggle a lot of construction in a small city with a limited amount of people. I mean, we've got, Kniff, multiple things going on with that. We've got alleys being, gone through. We've got lead service lines going. We're at speed humps miscellaneous around the city. We're repaving, side streets with speed humps and curbs. I mean, we're fixing stuff. We're fixing stuff from years ago. I mean, everywhere we look, we got construction going on. And there just frankly is only so many people to go around to get all that going at one time. And some of these projects have been in the works for years, frankly. I mean, some of the sewer lines and water line stuff, has been worked on before, long before I've been in this spot. So, I mean, some of these grants, even with,
Most of the grants don't come in until,
I mean, this is, you gotta work on what's in front of you at the time and what the grant is requiring. I mean, there's parameters on some of this grant money, there's parameters on some of the loans we got. I mean, everything is different. I mean, it's literally, you need a degree just to sort this stuff out.
I understand, but sometimes, I understand those are very important for the health and safety of the people, the infrastructure under the ground. But people care about what they see. And that's very important to us because we promise people things will be done at this, we put timeline for them. Then that time passed without getting things done, and you have all the resources available for you to do that, but you prioritize those big projects that are under the ground. We know it's important, but for us also, things on the surface are very important, the alleys and the street, and you have all the resources. That's why it's time to hire another company now, I think.
Well,
Since we have the
on
resources,
certain projects we are, like for the lead service lines at least, we're trying to get another company in here right now, so we have two companies doing it at the same time.
Mr. Chair,
go ahead.
we have said this multiple times. We mentioned hire more companies. We would have to stick with the same company. It takes them a long time for them to do products. If we lose them, oh well, be it.
Right.
There's a lot of companies here who are trying to get jobs. We mentioned this, I remember 5 months ago, and you guys are sticking with the same company.
Councilman, we bid these out.
Kniff stayed months and almost a year and some, and now we're doing another Kniff. I don't know how long that's gonna last. You're not gonna get the phone numbers and calls and emails. We are. So why not, if we have, like the mayor has said, we have the funds, why not hire more companies?
well, we just did a bid meeting at a site for Prescott Street. One person showed up. So it would be the contractor that is already doing work.
That bid opening is Thursday, so we'll see how many, I have about 10 or 12 contractors that have downloaded plans. How many submit a bid, we'll know on Thursday at 10 a.m. on how many bids we receive. Obviously, we go with the lowest bid normally, if they're a qualified bidder, so we have to wait and see who we get. we can't control how many people place a bid for the project.
These
We're
properties,
hoping we're-
they're competitively bidded
Yeah,
out,
correct.
advertised, posted, it's up to the
Okay,
various
let's go take the
contractor
decision.
websites for
Just
this.
wanna
I mean,
let you know.
they're there. I mean, there's only so many people, and you're gonna see in a couple resolutions from now, we have limited bids on EMS as well.
Oh, I got a question. That fund is coming for the water and sewer, correct? Is there any other funds can we use?
For that,
Yes.
I would say,
No.
I mean, I guess you could pay for it out of the general fund, but
Beside the general fund, is there any,
no.
Let me speak to this, and you're gonna hear it in, I think, our third item that we had. We sat down, we, made out the capital improvement plan. On that capital improvement plan, we had a lot of money set aside, because we were expecting 25 to 50% in grant money. You'll hear we got 100% in grant money. We have the funds in water and sewer fund to do this project. I'm sure Amir
Mr. Chair,
can attest to that.
These are huge, I mean, we just got another
Let me
15
go.
15 million in grant money.
We're planning to do all the water lines south of Holbrook on the west side of Joseph Campo coming up. I mean,
what's the other budget that we have is $2 million?
for.
That's the ARPA.
No,
fund.
it's another one.
Active 50,
No, we're trying to
51?
fix the
No.
DPS.
Oh, that's the
So we have
ARPA
both
fund.
funds.
Okay.
We have
Yeah.
major roads, we have local roads, and we have water.
The ARPA is what, it's what, we have two.
ARPA was just a grant,
Okay.
Yeah,
basically. the
but
federal
who
government pays
said
for
we're
it.
gonna use the ARPA to build a building for the TPS?
I'm
That
gonna
doesn't make no
say,
sense.
why not
I
use
mean,
it for
you
water?
can
Why
apply
we
for
choose?
grant, that can be used for something else. Can use it as matching for another grant or something else.
Water service, anything.
Yeah, we got lucky with the 100% funding, it was $15 million.
Okay, Mr.
We don't
Chair.
have to pay any of it. And we were expecting 25 or 50% match, and we got 100% match. So the money we had allocated off to the side to pay the other 75 or 50%, now that money's sitting there, because now we got 100%. So we're able to use some of that money now for the other projects that council's brought up, or managers brought up, or just areas where we're seeing we have a lot of breaks, and taking care of some of these oddball issues that we're being
So
faced with.
keep in mind too, on the alleys,
Oh, no.
council only allocated us 500,000 in the general fund for alleys this year. I think we dipped in another $1 million to our fund balance to do it. So I mean, we really upped the ante on those of what we wouldn't have done before, and we're already planning for the spring. We're hoping to do the East Joseph Campo Alley, basically all the way from Eveline to, Holbrook, if all goes well, amongst other ones that we're trying to figure out creative ways to do it. But alleys, for example, are sort of hard to do because it's a general fund or some other.
And those
crazy
have all
way
been
for our grant to do
televised
it.
now too, and fixed, so.
Mr.
Well,
forward.
you just say we have the money, Goodson been on the plan for almost, since I've been council, and it never been touched.
That's good sitting with the full Terra
Yes.
coming up. hopefully
That,
this
we're
winter.
working on, we have a couple of things going. We have the Clean Water SRF, which we did get in the fundable range for the loan for that. However, at the same time, we're working on the FEMA grant. So we're hoping the FEMA grant comes through because that will take care of 75% of that project.
Trying to get
So,
it for
which,
free.
it's trying to balance everything and we're going after as much grant money as we can. Your city is probably one of the few that's getting the max amount of grant money that we're putting in for. So we're doing everything we can to try and balance stuff so we can utilize grant money instead of taking out loans and city funds.
Mr. Chair.
And you gotta understand, we need
ahead.
to replace
Start.
sewer and water
Okay.
before we replace roads.
Okay,
Otherwise, it's
just
gonna be-
wanna remind my colleagues, water department, we was one time broke, almost going the bankruptcy, borrow the money from water department, save the city. This water department, the money is coming from residents, okay? It's not coming from anywhere. And somebody saw those money over there sitting and use it a little bit issue. So those money save our city long time ago. We borrow from there and put it back. And money has to use for water related issue. Is those money coming from residents? My question, there's the department head was there previous, not him. So it was his job, when design was final, do the analysis, any wrong, anything see, he should raise the flag and he did not. Most of the department head is doing like that, since some of the stuff we see. So what I'm saying, we need to be more active, like a rainy day fund. When I came here, it was surplus 5 million. Within 3 years, that money gone real quick. Okay, so those kinds of situation we don't want it. This city was 2-time receivership in my life I saw. It was there, 10 million surplus. When you have the jail system gone, you know what's going to happen to us. So all those things I'm reminding everybody have to understand. If I have the 10-year service, I had a pension from here, I go somewhere else, and Hamtramck City liable to give me pension. Okay, and there is other thing happening. I cannot speak here. Next council meeting, I have to bring another resolution. So anyway, go ahead, and we have to watch. That's all.
Okay,
Mayor,
so,
I need to speak something.
okay, go ahead, Councilman.
See, this project in Yusuf Kambo, I remember like 4 years ago. The resident, they spent a bond, $4 million for our resident. And Hennessy engineer should be his problem for this job. We can't promise when they came the new job in Goodson, because he missing this problem, Denton and Yusuf Kambo. He just fixed it like 3 years ago. Now he find the issue where the problem, he dumped the cement. He dumped the cement, this issue, he just fixed it 8 months ago. Now he coming back to the city. And how we gonna promise a new job? Same in Goodson, they cost a lot of money.
I'm not following.
How we gonna promise company did like that one? 4 years ago, he did the sewer from Denton to Gibson and Yusuf Kambo. When he did this job, after 3 years, they find out the problem. They said this issue, they some dump cement. That's him. That's him. He find out, and he fixed it 8 months ago.
Are you, Councilman, are you alleging that the contractor currently on the job? did
I'm
this
I'm
damage?
talking for Hennessy engineer
It
for
was
his
in
job.
front of him.
Yeah, I'm
He
talking
was
for
seeing
Hennessy
every day
engineer,
morning,
his job
afternoon,
and his
evening.
problem, and he take from our resident $4 million bond.
He's right. I was there. Anyway, let's
They
go.
take $4 million bond from all our residents 4 years ago.
I'm not tracking, who
So
specifically?
I think he's
Okay.
saying that it's their responsibility.
Yes.
since they
Yeah,
did it in the
his
past,
responsibility for his job.
and the problem appeared recently.
How we gonna promise a new job and when they did in
We
Gibson?
uncover
Mr. Mayor
stuff
is
as
speaking.
we go. I mean, there have been televised things throughout the city. We continue to
Mainly in
televise.
sewers,
Water
not
mains
water.
you can't televise.
Well,
So there's
repeating
you
the
won't know
problem.
until
Mr.
we
Chair,
open up the
go ahead
ground
on it.
on this stuff. So that was the issue, is that we opened up the ground to connect into the 24-inch water main going north on Joseph Campo. We found that it was filled with concrete.
That is the
We
issue we're
don't-
talking.
We don't know why
I
it was
don't- that's
filled with
what I'm
concrete.
talking
or
about.
We
how,
exactly know why.
because we haven't done any work that far north. So,
Okay, go ahead.
All right, so let the council decide on this one. And then hopefully within the next remaining 8 weeks of possible construction, that we see all the project we assigned done. It's like 7 streets and 7 alleys. I hope we get them done, not to postpone it to the next year. Because they started in some streets 2 months ago, and they're still in the same spot. So,
Mayor, which one are you talking about?
I don't know, I haven't seen any improvement in filming. When you
So-
started next to Kniff, and then down toward Carpenter, I drive every day, there's nothing. I'm hoping that I will meet them one day in the middle, but nothing.
So Kniff, we're hoping to wrap up here probably in the next couple of weeks or so, right, as far as the lead service lines through there. And then that'll be capped basically through winter, and then that won't get touched again until spring, hopefully, I'm thinking?
Yes,
Or
sometime
whenever the
between
grant
April.
money hits, basically, for that. Probably towards the end of summer on that one, because that's money-wise, that's when it comes in. So we'll rip out all of Kniff again, from basically Joseph Campo to Conant, and then that'll be completely done, just like we did the other 2 sections. As far as the alley goes, we're down to the last 3 alleys. I believe we're doing the North Holbrook right now. I know they were ripping it out as of last week. Did they start paving it? The North Holbrook?
Yeah, it's
The whole-
only to
not the
Gallagher.
whole Market's done.
It's, behind the market is just finished, but not the rest from,
But they're
They're
ripping
working
it
on
out
components. Yeah,
as
they're
Friday.
working
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I was talking about Fleming. It's one of
Fleming,
the most
Fleming.
important.
Well, that's on our list now.
Fleming
So-
was only done from Kniff up
that's
to
it.
Casimir.
But that's,
Yeah, that's what, but
know.
it's supposed to get done to Carpenter.
No,
we're-
we haven't done
it's
the
on the
lead,
list.
we haven't done lead service lines from Casimir to Carpenter, that's the thing.
It's coming.
I need to get underground work done before I can do road work. That's where I think a lot of disconnect comes in. We have to put in lead service lines and get those replaced before we can pave a road.
So why
Otherwise, it's
did we,
wasted
why
money.
did we approve it from there to there when we know it's?
We only approved from Kniff
It
to
was before.
Carpenter.
Casimir.
so a
Well,
lot of
because-
this,
Never, I haven't gone
a
up.
lot of the stuff's been approved
Before
years
us.
back.
Well, let me
This
explain you
council
what-
just, within this past year, said, hey, we want you to continue down Fleming, which I believe actually Councilman Rafai
I
said.
brought that up.
And brought some other streets into the mix, and we said, okay, we'll do this, and we popped them on the list. We just haven't got to those yet, I mean, they're coming, that's probably within, I think that's the next batch we're doing.
Yeah, and another thing, I remember that meeting.
That's on there,
And moving forward, I did have a meeting with Hennessy and John Hennessy, and before they wanted to stagger work throughout the city, so everybody's seeing some work going done, and that's one, costs more money, it's very aggravating, and then you have to tie in the stuff you've already tore out and redid. So I met with Tiffany, I said, let's do quadrants, and let's do entire roads, let's do sections. I don't want all over the place, it's not working all over the place. So that going forward, a lot of these roads that you've been talking about, the plan is to do the entire streets, but there was somebody that are already on the schedule that we had to go with what they was.
so everything council asked, mayor and council asked for is on the list, it's moving forward, we just haven't got to it just yet. As far as the batch of alleys that we got going now, we're down to the last three, we gotta finish off Holbrook. We have the West Conant Alley, basically from Comer to Casimir, and then we have the West Joseph Campo Alley from Carpenter to Nival. We realistically probably will get that one. I have a feeling the Conant one, they may or may not make it, I'm pushing them hard, I literally see the guy every other day, I'm out there pushing them. But that might hit the spring along with hopefully the East Joseph Campo Alley, which we're already trying to line up now. So, I mean, there's, like I said, there's only so many people to get so many, I mean, all this stuff has to be bid out, and it's all bid out competitively. There's only so many contractors that want it, and then the ones we select, we gotta fit into their schedule. I mean, it's, we don't have the power of, say, like the state of Michigan or Detroit, that we've got $1 billion we're throwing at something and they're gonna jump for us. I mean,
And we're fixing everything under the alley now too, so any alley going forward, I've had them all jetted, cleaned, televised, and I'm fixing all the sewer leads that are broke, caved in sewers, or weekend
Five
warriors
repairs.
that stuck in drains in there without telling anybody, so all that stuff's been fixed.
East Joseph Campo Alley alone, between that section, we have 5 repairs we have to do. So, I mean, all that's prep work in order before we can even rip out the alley to do the alley. I mean, there's a ton of stuff that goes into this.
Mr.
All
Chair,
right, so
we got
let's,
enough.
let's move on.
Yeah, we got another one to go to.
Um,
Big one is coming up.
Yeah, let's vote on this one.
Everybody made their point.
Right? Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Hassan,
Yes,
Councilman El Samiri,
I don't know how we gonna do, how we gonna promise issue like that.
you have to vote now, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I gotta say no.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-166 approved 4-2.
All right, thank you. The next one is Resolution 2023-167, approving the Joseph Campo water main construction, which will, it's related to the first one.
Special one.
Motion?
Second.
Can we just go ahead and vote?
Yeah.
Yes, this is
So,
756.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman El Samiri,
No,
Councilman Hassan,
I'm sorry, already.
So this is the construction. The first one, the design, so it's related.
Exactly.
I think you
same happening.
should be
Consistent.
consistent.
I have to say yes because of I approved the design, because without design cannot do
what
it.
can you do?
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa.
yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-167 approved 4-2.
All right. All right, the next one is Resolution 2023-168, approving the 2024 DWRF and CWSRF design proposal.
Motion.
Second.
All right. Any you wanna talk about that?
So we put in for, 6 water mains, lead service line replacement, and the distribution systems material for clean water investigation to be done under the drinking water SRF. That, we received the $15 million in 100% grant money, so under the ARPA grant. For the clean water, we put in for $2 million in cleaning and televising of sewers, along with the construction of the sewer relief 1B, which would go down Goodson and up Joseph Campo, just south of Holbrook. Again, that's the one we're also in conjunction trying to get FEMA grant money, so if that one comes in, we'll pull out of that, not take that loan. But to safeguard the city, so we can try and get that done, we felt it was still valid to move forward with the loan.
And these are also last year's that we just got, correct?
Yes, so we submitted a notice of intent in November of 2022 for these projects. So this is us looking forward, working with DPS, trying to figure out what projects, where we're having major water main breaks, that kind of stuff, where the water main problems are and what water mains need to be fixed.
We just do the water main, not sewer line?
The sewer is the relief sewer, but no, under the drinking water, so there's 2 different things. We got the drinking water and then we have the clean water. But under the drinking water, it's all for the drinkable water, so the water main lines. The sewer lines that are for the relief sewer.
That's kind of probably another source of confusion too, because we're getting many funding sources for this. I mean, this is money from the state, basically, that comes at us as a loan, which ends up being forgivable, correct? And then, we have actual water fund money that we use for some of these projects. We have FEMA money coming at us for projects. We have ARPA money. We have money coming at us from every direction for all these projects, and a lot of these projects, once we propose them, we're sort of locked into that route. We've added everything council asks for, but we're sourcing them in different ways. So this is basically, we're knocking out huge sections of the city with this stuff.
Mr. Chair, I have maybe a stupid question, could be. If we don't have those funds, $15 million, do you bring this to our past information? If you don't have the fund, do you bring this in the council to fix these things?
If we didn't have the fund to complete it?
Yes.
No, so what we did is, we put together.
We had the money now, and you need to complete this job, am I right?
These are grants, council.
So this is, the $15 million is 100% grant money. So what we did is, so Hennessy and the DPS sat down, we looked at, we knew there was grant money out there, and that there was that potential to get grant money. We didn't know if we were gonna get 25%, 50%, or 100%. So what we did is we put together a big wish list. We put a $15 million water infrastructure improvement wish list. And we got it. So it's 100% free money. So in ARPA grant money. So
we're asking for 20 next year.
Yeah, I put in close to 20 million for next year because we don't know if grant money is going to be there or not. But if it is and we can get it, we want grant money. Grant money's free money.
If we weren't getting this, it would be decades.
Mr. Chair.
We wouldn't be able to. We would not be able to do this if we did not get the grant.
I understand all those things, supporting grant money, you guys looking for. I understand, but the design one make me very upset. These kinds of thing we appreciate. I don't mind it. I just want to let you know.
Free money.
So the design for this stuff is covered
Now,
under
just
the
don't
grant.
forget it, that one, but just go on. Go ahead, that one.
Yeah.
I was here because I know everything that time.
I think we gotta talk some more.
Okay,
about that
go
one,
ahead
so I
now,
understand that more.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, I got a question to John. There's a charge here for $110,000 for store cleaning and television, right? Televising.
Televising.
So is that before we bought our equipment?
Well, we've already, yes. The
Okay.
one, the bills that you're probably approving for, yeah. And there's still more, because they've been running them, so that's why I wanted to get the approval from council as fast as I could, so that when we go into next year's cycles, especially on the alleys and some of the roads, we can televise our own. And our guys did start training on that, or on the camera system itself yesterday, set up mock sewer lines in the yard and everything, and they're learning how to navigate the little Jeep that runs through the pipes and everything, so they're getting pretty skilled on it.
So that means now we're able to save money now using the machine now, instead of us paying $110,000 to another company.
Yeah, by the time we get the rest of the bills in, because I'm sure they didn't bill us in full yet for everything, yeah. But yeah, we have a pretty penny to pay on
There
that.
was a lot of prep work going into all these alleys and things too. I mean, all stuff we had to do in preparation. There's a lot of behind the scenes stuff.
4 to 5 days alone on the Joseph Campo alley, just in televising and jetting and cleaning that alley, that was a disaster.
So last question. So I see Goodson Street from JC to Lumpkin, main project. Is that tear down?
So that's for the water main portion. So again, we got 100% grant money on that, so that helps us for that project, because if we're gonna tear out the road and everything like that, we have a water main down that road that's gonna need to get replaced. So we're getting the water main for free, because that's under the ARPA grant money.
Now replacement is our cost.
Then the sewer, we have to replace that when we replace the sewer. So
My question is, will that replace everything or just anything that deals with piping?
just so the water and the service lines is under that.
That's it, not the sewer system.
No, the sewer is what we have under the clean water SRF loan. That's what we're currently going after, but it's, at the same time, we're trying to finalize this FEMA grant, which would get us 75% funding. So with that 25% match, I told the state that we'd like to use essentially that ARPA money that we're getting free for the water main as part of our match.
Different
Okay.
ARPA money, not the 2 million we have.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know.
this is all new ARPA money that came in.
And if all that works, that means we're not gonna be using from our water and sewer budget, correct?
We're doing our best to alleviate our own water fund with all the grants.
And on another note, with the water mains that we're putting in, we're relocating them under the sidewalks. And we're getting them out of the roads.
So, okay,
So
cheaper
that
to
we don't have to
replace.
keep digging up the roads to fix things when they break.
Yeah,
I figure,
right.
let's just move it.
Cheaper,
We
okay.
had to run new service lines anyways, because of lead service lines. So might as well just move the water line, get it out of the road, and then put the new service lines to each side of the street. And then when they break, we're only replacing some sidewalk squares instead of the street.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
can I have
Councilman.
a
Go ahead.
second? Those water line are fixing those things. After a couple of years, 2-3 years later, each time we have a sewer backup come up, the one gonna be prevent the sewer backup?
So we're doing water, not sewer. Those are
I'm
two different
asking
lines.
you don't have any plan for the sewer?
The sewer, we plan on cleaning and televising and fixing blockages that would possibly help the flow better, get the sewage out of the city faster, so in the long run, it does help, it mitigates it. But with the relief,
There's a sewer line as
And
well.
with the
Yeah.
relief
Relief
sewer
sewer.
should help
Because
alleviate a lot of that basement
FEMA come up
backups.
every times after the disaster happened. So this FEMA money going for the sewer backup or?
Yes, the
yes.
FEMA money is for the sewer, is because of the sewer backup. That's where we're gonna put in a 60-inch, so a 5-foot diameter, pipe down Goodson that will tie into the big sewer that we put down Joseph Campo to the Denton sewer.
Do you have any plan, how much it's gonna cost us to fix all those sewer problems? City of Hamtramck, 2.2 square miles.
It's 50 million.
Yeah,
50 million.
over 50 million.
About
That's-
50 million.
discussed before.
Yeah, that's a whole other project, that's the
Yeah.
whole north side, we're heading in
Let's
that direction.
focus on the town.
What's positive is FEMA's already granting
This one.
a lot of
Chair.
funds towards that
Is any
project
more
now in the
question?
beginning, so going forward, we probably get more.
Yes, I need
All
one
right.
more question.
Go ahead.
We're good?
Yeah, I guess when you do the surface line from the last years and this year's, the material is the same, or we change something for the material for the surface line?
We're using copper.
We're staying with copper.
Same carbon, we didn't use the plastic?
I think there were 5 houses that got plastic, but we're staying with copper.
Yeah.
We decided to take.
But don't you
Reason
vote
being
on
is
copper and
because
plastic?
Negotiations with contractors, basically.
I thought we voted for plastic, right?
We voted for the ability to go to plastic because we believed it would be better, but there's also moving parts with contractors and contracts with them contractors, which we gotta, it's a lot to explain, but, perhaps.
It's in the best interest of the city to stay with copper, if we can.
Okay, the houses when we did the plastic.
For now,
Or the easiest way for you?
It's
The
not a
contractor
battle.
told us one thing, when we got it
It's-
approved, they came back and tried to charge us
It's a
more.
battle with the contractor.
So it was on the best
I
interest.
know, but
in
it
the
sounds funny
utilizing
because we
city
voted
money to-
something.
So that means
We
you
probably at some
guys,
point will switch to
going
that,
back
but
to
we were
what I
already under
mentioned
contract
when we
with
talked about the
contractor.
plastic.
So.
Next
the
10 years,
negotiations-
it's gonna come
And
back.
then you guys decided to
I
stick
have
with
to-
copper
Well, we
where
could do
I
either, so
mentioned
what's
in the
nice?
beginning.
Yeah, we have the
We have
option.
the ability to bid it out for
Next 10
either.
years, we're gonna come back.
At
to
this point,
all this
unfortunately, the contractor that we currently have in doing service lines, there was a battle once we said we could go to plastic and we gave them all the parameters. Because there's certain codes and everything that we have to adhere to make sure houses are properly grounded.
Into that, because there's negotiations with a contractor involved in that, which then if we show our hand, but if we could save that for like a negotiation type meeting or offline, I appreciate that.
Okay, that's
All right, then let's go ahead and vote.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
Councilman Hassan,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Afai,
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-168 approved.
Thank you. The next one is Resolution 2023-169, approving contract with Rapid Response Ambulance Company to provide EMS and EMS transport services for the city of Hamtramck.
I make a motion?
Second.
Mr. Mayor, I have our fire chief here who worked on this RFP and bidding process, along with a representative from Rapid. Matt, if you want to come up and Council Mayor, the lowdown.
All right, gentlemen, as you know, this is a contract service to provide EMS service for the city of Hamtramck. It is a 3-year contract. We put it out for bids with the RFP. We had 3 responses. 2 were companies who chose not to respond. The third one was Rapid, who is our current EMS provider. Everything is spelled out, the fee schedule in the resolution. Do you have any questions?
Couple highlights. On the ones that chose not to bid it, we reached out to them why, but they just wouldn't. And then also, we've got an amendment in this new contract, which there is a penalty if contract doesn't respond in or if Rapid doesn't respond in an appropriate amount of time. That was actually the fire union, along with the fire chiefs, behest to add that into the contract, and Rapid agreed.
So basically, we're sticking with the same plan in addition to the penalty.
Correct.
But the fees are going up.
It is.
If the first year remains the same as this budget year, then it goes up for the next, or for the consecutive years.
How much they are? What's,
5,000,
It's about
10,000,
5,000,
5,000.
6%? Or 4%.
Peak time hours.
You want to introduce yourself?
I'd be happy to. Chief, man.
Yeah. This is Jason Hosmer, he works for Rapid Response.
Good evening, council.
Good morning.
I'm Jason Hosmer, Vice President of Rapid Response EMS. So it's our pleasure to continue services into the city. 2 components I'd like to highlight. One is the maintaining that second ambulance in the city. We've been doing that for a couple of years now. And with the help of my analytics team, fire chief, police chief, city administration, we've been able to pinpoint the time frame when that second ambulance, which is in 8-hour time blocks, is needed in the city based on historical data. So that is a part of this continued contract that's gonna continue. We have the ability to shift that time block a little bit, depending when the schools are out and the kids are playing in the summertime, or it's in the evening hours, we can shift that 8-hour time block. The other component is, somebody had mentioned the pricing, so we were able to maintain the same cost structure we have today for the next calendar year, which is our fiscal year from December to January, January to December, I'm sorry. So there is no added cost for the first year of the contract. Year 2 and 3, there's a very marginal increase, and we attribute that to anticipated or forecasted wage increases and benefits.
Also keep in mind that every month our chief gets the analytics from Rapid, so he's basically delving through them and looking at it, watching it, seeing everything that's happened for that month and moving forward. So any tweaks that need to happen, our fire chief meets with Rapid and it happens.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Bob.
I got a question. So the first 144,000 says EMS services for 1 year. And then all the way in the bottom, peak time coverage for 1 year, it's 174,000. So what's the difference?
The 144,000 is for the ambulance that's here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
One ambulance.
So one ambulance.
Okay.
The second ambulance is in those 8-hour time blocks. That total cost is higher in aggregate, it's a higher amount. It is used incredibly low, has a very low utilization rate. It's about 30 transports a month. So I still have to staff it and put it in the city during the peak demand periods that we've identified. But the actual usage in the transports is low, even though the costs remain high for that unit.
So is it the 144 plus the
Yes.
174?
For the two ambulances. That's how it's been for the last, maybe 2 years.
2 years, we amended that.
You're able to
Yeah, because we
recoup
picked the
costs
second
on higher
ambulance to
volume
pick-
runs.
I know,
Absolutely.
it costs
Yeah,
more
so
than a
volume.
full-time
So,
ambulance.
Councilman, if I can explain
Yes.
the reasoning for that. So,
Get to it.
as Jason just explained, so it's 144,000 for the 24 hours, and then yes, it's 174 for that 8-hour block. Reason being is over the 24-hour span, the ambulance company is able to recoup a lot more of its costs through billings during that time, as opposed to that ambulance that's there for the 8-hour blocks. It's a very low run volume, even though we need it, so they're not able to recoup any costs out of that, hence they have to pass on a higher cost to us for that time frame.
Just hire them full-time, cheaper. Doesn't make
And,
sense.
and do we have to have a 2 ambulance?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. And to me, it just doesn't make sense having a full-time ambulance for 144, but now you get a part-time, costs more than a full-time.
We can certainly look and see what having 2 ambulances 24 hours a day would cost. They'd have to run the data, chief would have to analyze it.
No, that's what it costs.
Now, here's the 144.
Times 144 times 2.
Well, the utilization on the second ambulance would be really slow.
Yeah, so in other words, the other 16 hours on there, it would be used maybe once, I'm just speculating, we'll say maybe used once a day, which means that that cost would be even phenomenally higher, because they're not gonna be able to recoup those costs for those other 16 hours at all. That second ambulance is basically sitting there a lot, basically, so they're not making money by recouping costs from the insurance companies. So if we add another 16 hours, I can't even imagine how much higher that would be. Probably based
Probably
on
more,
that,
yeah.
triple.
I see where you're coming from, yeah.
Just very quick question, who needs the peak hours? What is your term of peak hours? What time, like, is it changed or always remain
Right
same?
now,
4 to
it's
8.
from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
10 a.m. to 6 p.m.
That's the peak time. And that's just based on historical data for the last 4 years.
The more runs, if they had more runs in a day, like if that second ambulance was running more, it would be cheaper. But it's sitting there a lot. We need it for those peak hours because we do have multiple calls in there, but it's not moving. I mean, the more the ambulance moves, the cheaper it gets because they're recouping their costs. If that ambulance was going 24 hours a day, it'd probably be free.
Probably would be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's go back again, numbers. So as we speak, as what you presented to us right now, is gonna cost us 318,000 for a full-time ambulance and a part-time.
Yes.
If we're able to have 2 full-time, it's gonna be 288. You're saving almost 30,000.
The fee schedule would be different based on usage.
Because
He's
that
getting
ambulance
paid,
is-
he's getting paid by sitting there.
That's the problem, Councilman. The ambulance company recoups its losses, it makes its money by the ambulance moving. So every run it gets, it makes money. When the ambulance is just sitting there not doing anything, they're not making any money and it's costing it more to sit there. If both ambulances were running constantly all day long, this would be free to us. But since the ambulances are sitting there not moving and they're not able to recoup their costs from making their runs, that's why the costs are higher, because we're basically paying for them to sit there.
So you're just telling me we should do in-house?
It'd be more money.
No, it would
We're
cost
analyzing
us.
it.
That's a fire department. We'll take over it in-house.
We're already heading towards doing, basic EMS for our fire truck, that's the route we're heading right now. But as of right now, the numbers do not suggest it would be less expensive.
We have the power, we have the men
Mr. Chair?
in-house.
Yes, Councilman Chowdhury, go
It's
ahead.
dollars and cents.
What,
Councilman.
the
We
question
move
is,
over-
that if you wanna cut down the budget, do we need the second one? That's the real question. If you wanna cut down the budget, we can take out the peak hours and have one run for 24/7. And then see if how it works. But we did not work out. We added the second one because of the peak hours, people call in, people come from work, and, you know, so on.
It's a trade-off of, I mean, an ambulance
But-
might not be available during that time, because if you get multiple calls and there's not a second ambulance.
Second ambulance
running-
there.
Can I remind people the incident that happened at the school not too long ago?
Sure.
That's one of the reasons we have the second.
Exactly.
ambulance.
It's up to the council and
All right, we can go ahead and vote.
What do you vote?
Yes.
No, what do you
You
vote?
vote?
I don't try to say.
Yes, go ahead.
Let's get the
Makes
vote,
sense.
please.
Councilman Hassan,
Huh?
Yes, no.
Councilman Rafai,
No.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-169 approved.
All right, thank you. Thank you. The next one is Resolution 2023-170, approving memorandum of understanding with the Hamtramck Park Conservancy.
I make a motion.
Second.
Pretty easy one. We're trying to fix, the budget is only 3,000.
So, Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you for the time. This memorandum of understanding was with the Friends of Hamtramck Historic Stadium for the past few years, and the Hamtramck Parks Conservancy's path and direction of trying to take more control and working on a memorandum of understanding with the city in the future. We decided this year to, instead of going through the Friends of Hamtramck Historic Stadium, it's gonna go through the Parks Conservancy. Tom over here, our executive director, can give you a little bit more details about that plan.
Yeah, so it's really just a continuation of the really exciting programming that's happened at the baseball stadium for the past 2 years. So last year there was over 100 baseball games, a lot of people coming to Hamtramck to play ball, and a lot of spectators too. And then when the field is not programmed for baseball, it's open for community use. So as the Conservancy is poised to take more control and make more contributions to the programming in the area, this would be a shift from the Friends volunteer group who's been doing the programming just over to our group. But otherwise, we look forward to, kind of more of the same activities at the stadium for the coming year.
And just, if it makes it easier, no cost to the city.
Oh, that's not even cost. I thought it was gonna cost, it said the budget adjustment 3,000, but that's maybe.
We're paying the 3,000.
You're paying for
Yeah,
that.
as a nominal, rental contribution.
Very nice, very nice.
Go ahead.
Just one opinion or concern. When I go to the park, there's a lot of dog poo-poo all on the park. So how come we don't have those, bags?
It's actually a lot of goose, and it's an ongoing problem at the
Is
park
it?
there. Yeah. The field crew and everything else, it's a lot of geese that stay at the park, at the actual ballpark and the field itself. It's been an ongoing problem that they're trying to deal with. We can look into installing, as you mentioned, the dog bags and stuff. That's something we look into installing next spring when the
Sure.
construction season goes in there. But just to let you know, it's a lot of geese.
That's a lot of poop. It's all over the park.
Well,
The grounds crew's been working on the goose issue. There was a little strobe light that was placed behind the pitching mound that's supposed to deter them, and that was unfortunately stolen recently, so we're working on it.
All right, that just, because I was there a week ago and maybe more than that, I was
Yeah.
almost everywhere. So, although there's a lot of dogs in
Yeah.
the city.
Little dogs.
I think it's all
It was a lot.
I think it's all geese, yes.
That's it.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Councilman Al Samiri,
yes.
Councilman Musa,
Yes.
Councilman Rafai,
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud,
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury,
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, Resolution 2023-170 approved.
Thank you. Next one and the last one, Resolution 2023-171, authorization to enter an agreement for the development and sale of 2079 Belmont Street to Gamdan Doma.
I make a motion.
Second.
That's a friend of mine. It's
Mrs. Faulkner.
Mr. Al-Harmain.
Okay.
Good guy. I don't know.
Is he the one,
Gamdan?
the Haramain?
Yeah, Al-Harmain.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Good brother. He's very friendly.
Yeah, all right.
So this is a regular single lot, 30 by 100. We did attach the plans. Now these are conceptual, so this is not the final site plan. It's just a concept of what they're looking to do. It would be $10,000 for the sale of this property. Basically, we're just requesting permission to enter into a development agreement and sale.
Okay with
Nice.
that.
Hope you built it.
Okay.
I know you can, he got business.
All right, let's vote.
Yes.
Councilman Chowdhury.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilman Rafai.
Yes.
Councilman Musa.
Yes.
Councilman Al Samiri.
Yes.
Councilman Mahmoud.
Yes.
Councilman Hassan.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, resolution 2023-171 approved.
All right, thank you.
Just to add that, Mr. Chair, there are 3 owners. He's the only one that stayed in Hamtramck, well, the rest moved, by the way.
That's true.
So,
Thank you for clarifying that, yes. Good memory.
All right,
We'd love to
thank
have
you.
him, he's a great guy.
All right, now
With this, we come to the end, and we move to the reports. And I'll start with my report, which is short. I mean, I have to mention my activities for the past 2 weeks, which I don't remember most of them, because there's too many. So I attended a major event for ACNA, Islamic Circle of North America, last week, and I was recognized in that event. It was a big event, their annual event. Took place in Westland, or Soho Banquet Hall, and I just came back last night from California. I was there over the weekend. Again, I was invited to a charity event for Yemen to support the healthcare system, mainly the people with end-stage renal disease, those who are on dialysis. So I went there. Anything for charity, I travel. I don't mind going anywhere, no matter who is the organizer. So they raised money for Yemen there, and I enjoyed the good weather for a couple of days and came back to Michigan last night. That's it for me. And next report for the Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to congratulate the winners on the election, and good luck for Councilman Chaudhry. Maybe next time,
Thank you, sir.
inshallah, you will make it. You guys did very well, all of you, and it was a very successful election. With the turnout wasn't that great, 23%, compared to close to 35% in my election. So that tells you, how to make people enthusiastic to go out and vote.
Sure.
All right, thank you so much. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thought you don't like us, but no, it's okay. So thank you, Hamtramck. All residents came out, vote. That's the main key. Vote for who. It's not the matter, come out and vote. That's all we care. And I like to especially thank you, Mr. Bill Myers. Today come here and correct us all the time, and same today. If he was not here today, maybe again another record without public comment. You save us and you save the public also. Again, thank you. Thank you, my colleagues. We working together, lots of difference. We see the boarding today and lots of question. And also invoice register, we need a more question. I apologize, I don't have time enough to look at that one. That one also, we have to start look at that one. So that's the good team. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. And next, before we move to the council report, I just remembered something. I received so many questions from the media regarding the recent lawsuit against the city for the flag issue, and it was expected. Nothing. I thought there was already multiple ones filed against the city. I don't know why this one made it to the news that bad. And I saw some people on the social media using the public comment number as a strong evidence that the lawsuit will succeed. Basically, this is, I don't know, when they talk about research and statistic, this is not a sample, authentic survey that you do here or study for the public comment. It's all about who is available to come who did a great job mobilizing more people to come to the meeting, who has access to the internet to write emails. And I mean, so it's not something to use as an evidence. I mean, random sample study is the strongest study in research. You have to pick a random sample, not use 10 people of the same
sample
family or the same color and then say, oh, we are more than you, so our evidence are stronger. To do a random sample study for the city, you have to go to the mosque, to the church, to the market, to the street, to the bar, south, east, north, west. That's a random study. And then you come up with the results. But to say, oh, we wrote more emails than you, therefore this is strong evidence that more people are supporting this side and that side. And another thing to compare, the city of Hamtramck is not being selective on which flag to raise. We just specified which flag should be raised, which is the government flags. Unlike the case of Boston, a few years back when they allowed 284 flag of different groups to be flown on the flagpole of the city, and then they prevented one person from raising his flag, which was a religious flag for some reason. So he filed a lawsuit against the city, and he won from the Supreme Court. Supreme Court ruled against the city because it was selective. There was selective enforcement. They allowed 284 flags to flown over the past several years, and they prevented one person from flying his flag. This is not the case with Hamtramck. Hamtramck is being neutral. We just said no to all flags, no matter what group you belong to. We just allowed the government flag. So I don't understand why people are celebrating that they were, as if they already won the case, while it's it's still in the beginning. So I don't see, and I watched in one of the news, an attorney who, they asked him right after we passed the resolution, and he said the only way you can win a lawsuit against the city is if they started allowing some groups to fly their flags and they prevented the LGBT flag. So this is just my opinion, and that's how I responded to the media. And it's of course up to our city attorney. He's going to take care of that. But that's something I wanted to mention, and we can continue with our reports for the city council. Anyone would like to start?
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Councilman.
I want to thank everybody that showed up here tonight, especially Bill and his good friend. The entire room, it's them. Also, I want to thank everyone who showed up for the protest and the rally for Palestine. I want to thank all the imams, leaders, everybody that showed up, even from different cities, from Warren, from Dearborn Heights, from everywhere. It was a successful protest. We all stood up for Palestine and what's going on in Palestine. It's nonsense. Also, I wanted to mention about, this nonsense newsletter that the Hamtramck, we have in the city of Hamtramck, where, since we became in power, it's been working against us. It has not supported this body at all. Like our friend Bill have mentioned, that they showed up at the protest. They seen the number of individuals that showed up. In the end, they just showed up, just 200 people showed up. It's like the entire, the big number that, there was a drone there. It's on YouTube. They could easily put Hamtramck on YouTube and they can find out how many people showed up before writing something, if you're not 100% sure how many numbers showed up. But there were enough number, more than 1,000, that showed up. It was a great protest. It was, thanks to our police department, the entire department that, showed support, make sure, we protest and march safely until we reach our destination. Everybody have a great night. Stay safe.
Thank you, Mr. Rifai. Yes, I don't know how I forgot to mention the protest. I mean, it was one of the most important events that I attended in the past 2 weeks. And I spoke at the end, and I said everything in my speech. So it was a very successful event with a great turnout. And there's so much to say about the you know, the Hamtramck review thing. It's work as the voice of the former power structure. Let's say it clearly. I mean, that's how I see it when I read every article. I don't know if it's still being funded by us, as you know, for the advertisement and stuff. But this needs to be reconsidered because it has to be neutral. The other day, I was asked frequently about statement of some person who was accused of being anti-Semite, who said things that they considered anti-Semitism. I don't know what I have to do with what someone said about foreign affairs that I don't care about. I can't control people on what they say, even if they are commissioners in the city. And people don't realize that the Semite people are the Arabs and the original Jews. They don't understand that the Arabs are Semite as well. But it's okay for anybody in the United States to say anything against the Arabs. It's not considered anti-Semitism. But if it's, which we condemned in this body last year, we passed a proclamation to condemn anti-Semitism. Everybody knew that. And that's our stance in this body. So I don't know why would someone to come and ask me or you guys about our opinion in that if someone in the city said something suspicious. We can't control people's opinion. This is freedom of speech in this country. They can say whatever they want. We had a person who raised the Nazi flag on his house in this city. I'm not responsible for what he does. That's his freedom of speech thing. Again, that's just to mention another point that came to mind.
Thank you.
Next, you wanna go ahead next?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Good evening, folks. Thank you for being here. First and foremost, congratulations to all the winners. And I have just a small message that I put it in my note. My dear Hamtramck residents and all the wishers, I received hundreds of calls, text messages to comfort me and my family. Also, many stopped by the house. I'm grateful to you for your love, kindness, and trust. You have always supported me. I hope you will continue to do so in the future. I love working for the community, helping people for the betterment for the community. I have tried to be there for you, and I will try to continue doing as much as possible from my position. Thank you so much for coming out and voting for me or someone else. The vote is matter. That's important. That's your voice. And it's all come down to, as you know, absentees, but that's how it ended. And it's fine. And I'd like to also appreciate Madam Clerk, Rana, and staff and Abe to work very hard and during this election and did a great job, as well as our city administration. They all watched over the election. Thirdly, we had a great rally and hundreds of people showed up, not 200. That's fabricated, portrayed. I marched from Yemen Cafe all the way to Carpenter to Conant to the City Hall. That's over 1,000 people. I have live videos. And we all stood up for our brother, sister in Palestine. What's happening there, it's unbearable, unacceptable. It's totally war crime and genocide. I hope everybody continues to support the Palestinians to be free and have a ceasefire. At least give the people humanity. You know, that's just basic rights. I don't know. It breaks my heart. It gives me tears. Thank you and have a good night.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, probably it's going to be repeat the same thing. Thank you, everyone. And thank you for the organizer for the Philistine rally. That was a really fantastic rally. And thank you for only not the Muslims, every racial people that showed up and support this rally. They're not supporting the rally, they're supporting the Philistine, the way it's getting genocide, and that should be a wake-up call for our politicians and our elected leaders, upper leaders, our Congress and Senate, to do the ceasefire now, because this is, people are saying enough is enough. It's not only Muslim people or Christian, it's Jewish people coming out on these days and they are protesting. Then, we don't want to see any more kids dying. This is not what we want to see. And as a, great country in United States of America, we should have stand up and speak up and stop, those genociding. Secondly, congratulations on the winners. And Naeem, I know you don't win, but your campaign was very livelihood. You did a great job, and we appreciate that what you did, and your continuous support. I know it's going to be always happen in the city. And as a community activist, I hope you always support the council and come back. And if you do something wrong, and tell us what we're doing wrong, and if you're doing good, appreciate those things as well. And that's it. Thank you. Have a great night to everyone.
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Councilman.
I'd like to thank you, everyone. You came out today for the meeting. And I'd like to thank all residents in Hamtramck. They voted for me. I was not. And I'd like to thank everyone. They came to the protest and Palestinian, and they support that one. And all my friends, they speak for that one. And thank you for everyone. Thanks.
Yes, go ahead, Councilman Abu Musa.
Good evening. Thank you, Will Myers, to be here this evening. So at least you are the one. We don't have something like last week. I'd like to congratulate all the winners. Mayor Pro Tem Kamal Hassan, Al Somali, and your comeback, Muhtaja Salman, for your victory. And also I missed you, brother, and my colleague, Naeem Chaudhry. Thanks for dedicated work, and you fight real good, and it is appreciated. And thank you, Ms. City Clerk. You did a wonderful job. I came in a couple times, but when I saw you, I just stay away from there. I don't want to disturb you. Every staff is
Did I
very
scare
helpful.
you? Was I scaring you?
Look like
Every
you
Mission
staff is very
accomplished
helpful.
if it was.
Very helpful. You did a smooth and successful election
Thank you.
last Tuesday.
Thank you.
And thank you the people who came into last Saturday parade. It is a wonderful parade. Our heart for the people of Palestine, especially for the Gaza. I don't know, one day could be our government higher level, White House could be woke up and they realize it. If Israel has a right to their freedom and protect them, but Palestinian people have the right to their life. More than 5,000 kids are killed in this war, and most of them are women also. Kids and women are not a part of the war, but our government and the most political people, they don't see this part. They don't realize it. I appreciate the people all over the world who come up and put their voice to ceasefire for those people from America, Europe, Asia, all over the place. Those people have the common sense. Those people have the heart. Those people feeling the pain for those people who's dying each and every day. I hope one day President Joe Biden will woke up. Donald Trump says Sleepy Joe will be woke up, and he'll do the ceasefire for the people. And thank you all those imams, leaders, all those people from Hamtramck and surrounding area joined this last meeting, last rally. It's a successful rally, and I condemn this paper. Who told this 200 people come to the parade? Newspaper will be the face of the truth, and it is same way you can woke up and see how many people on the parade. More than 1,000 people on the parade. Please, if you don't deliver the truth news, don't deliver the false news. Thank you very much for listening to me, and thank you very much for all of the winner again.
Thank you, Councilman. And talking about our president, I saw a video that he tripped on the stairs of the airplane. I hope in Poland. He's on a visit to Poland, right?
Yeah.
I saw it before I came here. I hope
Again,
he's doing fine. It was a big fall
True.
on the stairs of the airplane. So I just hope he's doing fine. And when he comes back, we will keep asking him to cease fire. because today is day 39 of the war. Nothing was accomplished except killing 12,000 people so far. And, rockets is still being fired into every place in Israel. So it's just a war that's killing the civilians. The enemy of Israel, who is the resistance, are under the ground, and it's very hard to get rid of them. And every child who is being killed, hundreds of people are joining the idea of resistance to the occupation. So this is a transgenerational conflict, like I said, and it's not going to be ended even by getting rid of all the resistance groups that are available today. So with that, we come to the end, and it seems that there's a report for the controller, but he's not here, right?
It's just posted in there.
We just uploaded it.
Okay, so we move back to the public comment.
Mr. Bill Meyer?
No,
he's skipping
he
his
doesn't have.
turn.
Oh,
I removed it from there.
okay, thank you for letting me have the last word. First of all, the Joseph Campo was tore apart in 2005, totally. I lived right there and I remember walking down the gravel and dirt on Joseph Campo when they pulled out the old rails from the old streetcar. Totally torn up. And yes, I do remember it's on the map that John Hennessy presented to all of us, explained very well. But I think it would have been nice to have John Hennessy here to try to answer
Thank
the question.
you.
Because he's a good person, and I think he means good for the city, so it'd be good to ask him directly. I have to add on just a few more things about what I said earlier. Not only is this paper horrible in the sense of being Islamophobic about this particular parade, but it's been all along. I mean, since I've lived here, it's been Islamophobic. I don't know why you maybe just discovered that. But this article didn't only have a base stake of 200 people. It also didn't interview anybody from the organizers that put the parade together. They didn't talk to anybody about the parade. They had no idea what the plan was, who was going to do it. They didn't advertise it. Instead, at the end of the article, which is usually the most important part of an article, is they interview someone from the Zionist group, the ADL organization, and how horrible Palestinian Hamas is and all that stuff. Hamas, whether you like it or not, was elected to office in Gaza. We didn't like them to win, so we did everything we could to overthrow them. That's why we supported them. Like the mayor said, one person's a terrorist is another person's freedom fighter. If they don't work on your side, then they're terrorists. As far as anti-Semitism, which is thrown around a lot for anybody who criticizes Israel, you're not anti-Semitic if you criticize Israel. I'm with a group called JVP. I'm one of the founders of the Jewish Force of Peace. There's thousands of Jews in America who oppose.
You can have another mic.
Okay, there's thousands of Jews in America that oppose this war and oppose Israeli Zionist policies. You don't have to be as anti-Semite to this. That's a government that you're opposing. I think it's important to mention the history of what happened there. In this paper, in this article, made no interest at all of showing the history of what really happened in that region. It didn't just start on October 7th. Palestinians were killed, driven out, and millions were killed back in 1948, 47 it started with the British Mandate. The whole history is very complex. You can't just go by what happened on October 7th and condemn the Palestinians. This is a crime against humanity, what happened. And the rally you put together was so important. And I thank you all and everybody who showed up at that rally. Thank you for doing that. I hope we continue to fight against. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you. All right, so with that, we come to the end, and we have a closed session.
We don't plan to come back to vote on anything, it should be quick.
Okay. So we.
Can I need a motion, please?
I'll motion.
Second, 8:54.
Thank you.
8:54?
7, 8,
9:54.
8:55, yeah, it's 8:55.
8:55.
Oh, 8:50. Oh,
That clock is, yeah. I'll fix it.
Are you tall enough?
I don't know. I think he's got this.
I might rip my pants.
I was wondering, like, wait, you been here that long?